Alright, so this video we're talking about what I learned from my last ex-girlfriend. And we broke up like about a year ago now, and there's things that happened along the way from this year that I'm apart from her that I pretty much reflected and learned a few lessons about how the relationship was, why it ended, and let's talk about it, okay? So one of the things that I learned was that like communication is very key, right? At the end of our relationship, we weren't really even talking that much, and it was really hard for us to even know what we were, you know, on the same wavelengths about. So I really think that being able to express your feelings and the concerns that you have, that you're holding down in your heart, it helps with like any kind of misunderstandings that you may have from like a fight that you guys had or any kind of this kind of like arguments or disagreements that you had in the past. You know, one thing in particular that comes to mind in my previous relationship was when we got into a fight in our at our trip in Florida. We didn't really talk much about that fight afterwards. Right? We kind of just like bottled up our feelings. I know personally for me, I was still very angry. Like I wanted to pretty much break up with her. Like I felt like I deserved better. That's kind of like how I felt because I felt like I wasn't being treated right. You know, like in my head, I was like, okay, if this woman that wants to be with me really, really, really wants to be with me, like she'll be with me. Like it's just that simple. And that was what's going on in my head. Like if she doesn't want to stay with me, she can leave, right? Which she did, which she did leave, and it was my own fault, really. I didn't communicate to her that like I'm feeling these type of feelings towards her at this moment, right? I just kept it bottled in. I never told her like, oh, about the argument. We never talked about it. I never like cleared up the resentment that I felt towards her, and it just kept festering and got worse and worse, right? So I think really the communication is very key in any relationship that you have, and if you don't communicate well, there's gonna be a lot of like misunderstandings that come up in the future, right? And that's gonna like affect the overall dynamic of the relationship. You don't want to be like at each other's throats all the time you see each other, right? Which that wasn't really the case for me, but it was kind of like behind the scenes, like in the back of our heads. That's kind of like what we're thinking, right? Because we didn't discuss anything else further from that argument, but we really should have, right? Like we should have talked about how like, well, I should have even said like, it's my fault for speaking to her in a way that she didn't like, and she also you know should have told me like um why it makes her feel some type of way, right? It's just like just clearing the air, making sure that you guys are both on the same page, because at the end of the day, right, you have to remember that this person chose to be with you, and they actually do love you, right? Like me thinking back now, like I genuinely loved my girlfriend, right? And she genuinely loved me. And that's really hard to find, right? Just like having someone to genuinely care for you and want the best for you, it's so tough to find, right? So just learning to communicate is just very important. Okay. Moving on to number two, another lesson that I learned is that the trust, it's got to be earned, right? Like there was times where my girlfriend would tell me like to not follow other girls on Instagram or like not talk to other girls in person, right? And when they bring it up, it's because it's like not comfortable for them, right? It's not like they want to talk about it, right? It's not like they want to call you out and say like, "Oh, stop following these bitches." Nah, like they're just trying to say like, "You're mine, right? You are my boyfriend. You should have eyes for me." And they love you and you love them. So you should really only have eyes for each other, right? And you gotta really build that trust where, like, in the event that you do follow somebody, like a female or whatever, right? It's not gonna be like indicating that like you're going out of your way to try to get in this girl's pants, right? Like your girlfriend will have the trust in you that you won't do anything with this person, even though it's a person from the opposite sex, right? So it takes time to build that trust and it takes effort, right? It's not just like, oh, I trust you because you're my boyfriend or girlfriend. Like it takes time. You have to build it, all right? And that's really part of a healthy relationship, right? Step one, communicating about the issues that you're having, right? Whether it be like, oh, your significant other following people from the opposite sex, or talking to a person for the opposite sex, like just putting it out there, and then you know building and maintaining that trust, right? Because that's really important, right? For me, early on, I even like broke the trust of my girlfriend, right? I'm not gonna lie, like I like because she hangs out with uh her coworkers all the time. I was at the gym one time and I hung out with a friend of mine at the gym, right? It was my fault for not me being more, honest with my girlfriend. I should have told her, oh, like I'm hanging out with this person, and da da da. Obviously nothing really happened, but it still shows that like you care for the other person by telling them like, oh, like I'm going out with this person, right? Even though nothing's gonna happen, right? Or like whatever, right? It's just about being open, and then when you're open like that, that's how you build trust, right? That's how you earn a healthy relationship, right? It's not just like given to you. You have to work on these things, build the trust, maintain the trust, right? And you want your significant other, your partner, to trust you, right? Otherwise, a relationship built on no trust, that's not really a relationship, right? You're supposed to be on the same team. You're supposed to be on the same page, focusing on reaching the same goals, right? All right, and that's all I have to say about trust, right? It's not like a very um, it's not really a thing that you can work on. It's something that you have to work on together, if that makes sense, right? So work on that together, and I think it's a pretty important lesson that you should learn early on. You know, like don't break the trust, because once you break that trust, it's very hard to earn it back. I'm telling you right now, it's very hard. Okay, so don't break the trust. Build it, maintain it, take care of it like it's a little plant, right? Don't just let it wither away. Like it's literally like a plant. You have to treat it like a plant. Can't just like disregard it, right? My number three thing is self care, right? At some point in your relationship, you're gonna become very comfortable. Don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with being comfortable, right? You should feel very safe, comfortable with somebody you care about, someone you love, right? Your partner. They're supposed to be your source of happiness, basically, right? Your source of safety, and it's it's very easy to get really lost in that, right? And just become this person for your partner and spending all your time with them, right? And then now you're pretty much your whole world, your whole life revolves around them, which it probably already does, to be honest, right? But you still have to take care of yourself, okay? Self care is just as important as all the other lessons that I showed you, right? The one thing that you should really take away from this is continue to work on yourself, right? It's not about just working on the relationship as a whole, but also working on yourself, right? Not in the sense like um being selfish and like ignoring them. No, like more about like taking care of yourself so you can be the best version for them, right? You want to be the best version of yourself for your partner, basically. Okay? So you want to be able to be well-rounded, right? You have to have a good source of income. Not it doesn't have to be amazing, like 100K, whatever. Just some income where you can be taking your girlfriend out on dates and you know providing a roof over your head and just the basic necessities, right? You should also make sure you're taking care of your health, right? Still hitting the gym, making sure you're um, working out, just like as if you were single, if that makes sense, right? You don't want to just stop working out because now you don't have to, right? I know a lot of guys, they work out just to like impress the ladies, get big muscles, but you have to continue that process, right? Otherwise, if you stop, now you're no longer the person that she fell in love with or he fell in love with, right? You got to maintain a certain level of self-care for yourself, and then your partner will appreciate that, right? Because they can see that um they can see that you're changing, making improvements to your life, right? If you're not doing anything with your life, they'll also see that. Like if you don't do anything, it's actually worse than like making a small little progress, right? If you do nothing, you're actually going down. You think you're doing nothing, like you're staying still, you're staying neutral, right? Yeah, you can stay neutral for a little bit, but it's slowly actually going down. Like you don't see it because you think it's just neutral, but it's actually slowly going down, right? Like for example, like you're in a relationship, everything's going good, right? And then you just you stop working on yourself, right? You stop hitting the gym, you stop eating right. All you do is just play video games, hang out, right? Stop working that much, take up less hours, and now you're just a schmuck, right? You're just a blob right there, and no one's really gonna want to be with you. It's just the honest truth, right? Like if you don't even want to be with yourself, who's gonna want to be with you, right? So being able to take care of yourself, very important lesson. Okay, I would say it tops the other two, honestly, right? Because if you can't even take care of yourself, you're not. There's no way you could take care of another person, right? So take care of yourself first. Okay. All right. Now, lesson number 4 is something I learned a little bit later on after a few months because being single, it's kind of rough. So you try to like date again, and you start to realize that like a lot of these people out here are just not compatible with you. So my next lesson is that you have to find a really good compatible partner, right? You have to be compatible in your values, your goals, your lifestyles, because these kinds of things can lead to more harmonious interactions, right? Like let's say for example, you guys don't have the same values, right? You don't believe that eating healthy, you don't believe that working out will do anything. But your boyfriend thinks working out is everything, right? Now in that situation, like your values don't align, right? One person doesn't want to hit the gym at all. Another person wants to hit the gym every day, right? In this situation, there's no compatibility, right? One person is going to be in the gym, one person is not going to be in the gym. But this is just a rough example, right? Because people can come around, people can change, they can change their lifestyles and stuff like that. But it's really, really going to be an uphill battle, right? You have to realize that if this person has never worked out before, right, and they never had the ambition or motivation to work out, you dragging them along with you, it's not going to be easy, right? You're going to be like pretty much their personal trainer. And not a lot of people want to do that. They didn't sign up to be your personal trainer, right? So it's really important to find somebody that has similar values, goals, and lifestyles, right? So if they eat the same thing as you, if they do the same activities as you, if they like the same like hobbies as you, right? Then it's much much easier for you guys to live together harmoniously, right? Just being a happy couple. For me and my ex girlfriend, like I really think we had a beautiful, beautiful, harmonious relationship. We were so compatible. We liked the same music. We loved the same artists for songs, right? We liked the same activities. She was very supportive of me, like of my basketball business and everything. She would watch me play sometimes, cheer for me on the sidelines. Yeah, she was a really good girlfriend, and we had the same goals. We wanted to make sure we start wanted to start a family soon, have a lot of kids. Like, I could really appreciate that. She wanted 5 kids. I only wanted two, but I was all for it. You know, I want a lot of kids too. Honestly, I don't mind. I will make more money. Not a big deal. And our lifestyles were very different. I mean, very similar. Sorry. You know, we were both working, right? I mean, I was working 9 to 5 when we first met, and then she was also working a job, and she was working a job and going to school, so she was very busy. But we were able to find time for each other and hang out. So it was it was like being able to recognize that we were compatible very early on, and it was really nice to have our moments, right? But now that we've broken up, it's tough. Like you're out here looking through the selections of females, and there's not a lot of good options, right? It's really hard to find somebody that's compatible with you. So, you know, if you're on the lookout, make sure you consider compatibility. Okay, moving on to the next one is having respect. Okay, so you gotta respect each other, and it's a really a non-negotiable, right? If you feel disrespected, like at any point, just walk away, right? Mutual respect is the foundation for respect, like for a relationship, right? Just having that basic level of respect, mutual respect. Sorry, like just being able to respect each other, right, is really the foundation, right? Imagine somebody has no respect for you, right? You try to set up a date, they show up late, or they don't show up at all, or you're trying to um fucking meet their parents, right? And they're so obnoxious in front of their parents, right? I don't know if that's a good example, but let's just go back to the dating example. They show up mad late, right? They're not respecting your time, right? They're not showing you respect, right? So if any female you're seeing or dating, right, and they play these kind of games, drop her, right? Getting respect is a non-negotiable. Mutual respect is a non-negotiable. If you're meeting up with this girl, you showed up on time, dressed up nice, right? Respectful man. You deserve a certain level of respect from anybody, right? Not just this woman, right? You deserve a certain level of respect from just people in general, right? You took time out of your day to get dressed up. You, you know, let's say you are doing self care. You worked out. You're a strong individual. You deserve respect. Everyone does to certain extent, but it has to be mutual, right? You have to be respectful to other people as well, and then you also receive respect. Okay, and it's just being supportive, right? You have to be able to be kind to others and be supportive of them, right? It's not always just be like me, me, me. Respect is not just me, me, me. It's about other people. You get what I'm saying? Like respecting other people, what they do, what they're passionate about, right? Okay, so non-negotiable respect. Remember that. All right, moving on. Emotional intelligence, right, is very valuable. Okay, so this is one of the things that I lack the most because I'm pretty emotionally stupid. Okay, like I honestly don't know how to handle my feelings sometimes. I'm not gonna hold you, right? But developing emotional intelligence, it will help you like navigate challenges in a more easy to understand way, right? Because when you're emotional, it makes the decisions like it makes making decisions, sorry. It makes making decisions much more difficult than if you were like, emotionally intelligent, just being calm, very collected, right? Being able to manage a conflict very constructively, right? So like let's say something bad happens, right? You get in an argument with your girlfriend, or something happened between you and your girlfriend, right? And instead of like just like snapping, right? You really want to have that emotional intelligence to calm down, manage the conflict, and then advance to a solution in the most constructive way possible, right? You don't want to just like just jump on the first emotion that comes to your mind, right? You want to be empathetic and understanding of everything, right? Just everything. Just like take a step back, be understanding, empathetic, right? and caring, because you have to remember this is somebody that you care about. This is somebody that is your partner, your life partner, right? Somebody you're trying to build a future with. And you have to be able to realize that, okay, I care about this person, so let me understand why they're feeling this way, why they're saying these things, right? And then just trying to manage any kind of issues that come up, right? And you want to progress towards that future where you guys are happy, right? Because you don't want to be beefing with each other. You guys care about each other, right? And it's not like I'm making this stuff up. Like, I know you guys care about each other, so it's just a matter of just understanding why or how, right? Sometimes you don't even need to understand, but you just have to have that empathy, you know? And that's emotional intelligence. Like, I don't really have good emotional intelligence. I will admit that. But it's something that I'm trying to develop more, right? It's something that I learned that is really important, because how you react to things is a pretty good description of your character, you know? Like, it's something that people will remember you of. Like, if you were a really angry person, or you were very hasty, where you would like always jump at the opportunity to get like nasty, you'll be remembered for that. You know, it's not something you want to be. It's not a good reputation to have, if that makes sense. All right. So we got almost two more. We're almost done. Let's wrap it up quickly. Right? It's about 20 minutes long now. But one thing I did mention this before, like self care is important, but you have to remember that. So this is another lesson. So independence, right? It's separate from self care, but being independent is also healthy, right? So number seven, you gotta be independent, right? Like, yes, you can have a partner, but you still have to be yourself, right? You have to maintain your own individual self. Like, what are your own interests? What are your hobbies? Like, what are your friendships outside of the relationship? Like, like, are you nurturing those relationships as well, right? You can't just be, you know, 100% all the time with this person. Like, yes, it's nice. I know you want to do it, right? I've done it. Like, I'm a victim of it, right? I'm not a victim, but like, I've been a type of person that does that. And you just spend all the time with my girl, and I really want to hang out with my boys. And it actually ruined one of my relationships with one of my guy friends. And it is what it is. But you have to maintain your own individuality, right? Like, if you like playing basketball, for example, like me, right? You should still go play basketball, once a week, twice a week, right? For me, I'm gonna tell you right now, I stopped hooping, right? I mean, I started my basketball program, and then that was like my basketball for the week. But I never played on my own, right? And that's something like I should have realized early on. Like, the thing that brought me the most happiness in my whole life was just hooping, right? Just playing ball with my homies. And I stopped doing that. So it was just kind of like it wasn't fun anymore. My life wasn't fun, right? It was just kind of like bringing me down a little bit, right? So, and then I also stopped working out. Like, I these were all my interests before, so why did I stop, right? So like my independence was solely becoming a dependent on my girlfriend, right? So you don't want that. You have to make sure your independence is still intact. Independence is healthy, right? You want to be independent from your partner. Okay, not to say like, oh, split ways. No, just be like having your own life, they having their own life, right? And then just being able to operate without each other, right? Maintaining your own interests, maintaining your own hobbies, maintaining your own friendships, right? Like, I had, I mean, sometimes like our friends would collide. Like sometimes she would introduce me to her friends, right? Then we'd become friends. I would introduce her to friends. I only have like one to two friends, but then they would become friends, right? And it's just like, um, doing that, it builds a stronger bond, with each other. Intertwining circles and then having your own circle, if that makes sense. Right? You don't necessarily have to intertwine, but you should definitely have your own branch of friends, right? Don't just cut off your friends just because you have a girl now. No, because what happens when your girl breaks up with you, right? And you lose your friends too. Now you got nobody. At least, make sure your friends are still there, right? I know for a fact that my ex, she's chilling with all her friends. She's not worried about me at all because she maintained all her relationships. So props to her. Let's finish it up. Last one, lesson number 8. Closure is necessary, right? Sometimes um like I know like after a relationship people are trying to seek closure, forget about it. But when you have a girlfriend, right, in the relationship, you have to remember closure is necessary, right? Because you're now in a relationship, you're still in this battle with this person, right? You're still in because relationship is a battle, like you're fighting every day to be together, right? So I call it a battle. But if there is a fight, right, a fight needs to come to a closure. You can't just have an open wound, right? Open wounds tend to open much faster and get much worse. They get infected, to be honest, right? So seek that closure and understanding after, like, getting into an argument, right? Just understanding how and what caused it, and it provides good closure for both parties, right? Just to shut down um, that incident, basically. I honestly don't think closure is as important as the other lessons in this list of lessons, but it is necessary if you're trying to move on and reach an understanding after something happens, right? So it's it's one of the lessons, but it's not one of the most important ones, right? The I would say the most important lessons would have to be like communication, the trust, taking care of yourself, the compatibility, respect, okay, and emotional intelligence, right? These kind of things I say is the most important lessons that I learned from my last ex girlfriend. If you have any lessons you learned yourself from your last relationship, drop them down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Peace.